You'll be empowered, engaged intellectually. Just be inspired. Embrace some positivity. Chilling for you. Approaching it deductively. Money and power and more mind. Oh, see. Food for your mind. Food for your body and soul. Money and power and more mind. With Coach T.
I am the Coach T, and this is Empowering Moments with Coach T, and I am your host, Toria Renee, and I am going to be sharing with you guys. We have an awesome show right here on Intellectual Radio, and we're going to be talking about the Black love situation. But just before I do that, let me just tell you who I am. I am a personal growth and mindset change coach, and I help people gain the insight and clarity they need to become the very best version of themselves. If you are at a crossroads in your life and you're wondering what to do next, allow me to give you another perspective so that you too can walk through your journey to a better you. Contact me on Facebook and Instagram at I am the Coach T. Or you can email me at imthecoacht@gmail.com. Last week, we talked with Leslie Godden, and she shared with us about mindset change and emotional awareness. Definitely, if you missed the show, watch it back. You can watch it back on any platform that you normally watch, but you can also catch me on the Facebook page at I am the Coach T, and you can do it on IntellectualRadio.com, YouTube, IntellectualRadio.com, or you can search Empowering Moments with Coach T. But I want to get into the show today, the Black love situation, the two-part split series, beginning today with the Black Woman's Learning Curve to Partnership. And I'm going to be featuring a wonderful, wonderful guest today, Miss Lady Reshell. She is actually a fellow Intellectual Radio host. She is the host of Warriors Talk, which is on Mondays at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio. She is also the author and founder of Warriors Talk, where we empower individuals into action for a healthier life. And gentlemen, Lady Reshell. Lady Reshell. Get it right.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited about the show today.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get to know a little bit about Lady Reshell. First, welcome to the show. It is always a pleasure to have a fellow Intellectual Radio host on the show because I don't have to prep you. I can just start, right? Right. Give us a quick overview of who you are. Tell us a little bit about what Warriors Talk is.
Well, I am Lady Reshell, author and founder of Warriors Talk, where we move away from awareness towards action. So we empower individuals into action for a healthier lifestyle. Warriors Talk came to be because of my cancer journey, which I was diagnosed in December of 2013. And I ended up losing my sister to breast cancer at the age of 52 and my dad at the age of 71 to lung cancer. So that started my journey of empowering individuals to take charge of cancer.
Oh, wow. That is an awesome story. Now, one day we're going to have her come back. We're going to talk about this for real because I really, really want to get into it. But let's get to the topic, the Black Woman's Learning Curve to Partnership. Let's get to the nitty gritty, the dating game, because this dating game for me, I don't know about you, but this dating game for me as a single woman is really, really starting to vex all of my nerves. And I don't think I have no more left. So let's talk about this casual thing, because I think this casual relationship situationship is beginning to be a thing. Why do you think we as women accept these casual relationships? Because that's really majority of the time, that's not what we're looking for. We don't want casual. We want something substantial. So why are we accepting the casual when we really want something else?
I believe that we accept the casual because we're not bold enough to stand in what we're asking for. And we're so used to settling for what's right now. So if someone tells us, I don't want to be in a relationship, we tend to say, oh, okay, I'm not looking for a relationship either, when we're not bold enough to stand in our truth to say, we don't want the same thing. So let me just keep looking.
Absolutely. And I think a part of that is that we're afraid to be alone. Some of us, I have found that women, maybe it's men too. I got to ask the men when I talk to them and when it's their segment, but we don't like ourselves very much. Like by ourselves, me, I love me some me. I can be in my four walls by myself, for myself, with myself, and have the most wonderful time. Never feel this void like, oh my God, I just got to have somebody here. But I'm learning that most people don't necessarily like that moment with themselves.
It's the companionship. Even Adam, God had to create Eve for him so that he wouldn't be alone. So we love to be around people, and I mean, it's innate in us. So it's not a negative thing that you don't want to be alone, but you can be alone, but you don't have to be lonely.
Absolutely. And I think that's the piece that everybody's missing, because alone doesn't mean lonely. Because I can be alone, I can have the greatest time, but then I can still have a good time with people. And it's no different. Like, I don't feel like, oh my God, I had a better time because I was with people. I can have the same better time with just me. The other piece is, I think for me, my biggest issue with casual relationships is that, contrary to, the game that men run, casual really never leads to anything substantial. And here's my thing: if I'm gonna waste my time being with you, and I know you don't want anything substantial, all I'm doing is setting myself up to have a failed relationship, which is only going to give me a whole bunch of baggage that I now got to unpack and heal from. Who has time to keep doing that?
Time is currency. So whenever you give someone your time and they waste it, you can't get it back. So, don't allow anyone to waste your time. When you know what it feels like to be loved, then you're not going to tolerate someone giving you crumbs, feeding you breadcrumbs. So just don't allow anyone to waste your time. I heard a saying that women use sex for love and that men use love for sex. So we hold out because we want that person to love us. And men will say, I love you, because they know if they say that, you'll get the sex. So stop wasting each other's time. If that's not the person for you, then move on. But we have an issue with that. We don't know how to do it.
I think standing on your word is probably the biggest challenge for women, because it means that you have to be alone. It means that you have to wait. It means that you're going to be single for a little while longer. So, I was just talking to my mom last night about this guy that jumped in my inbox on Facebook. And so we're having this conversation on Facebook, and it's like, oh, well, let's meet. And I'm like, okay, let's meet. Let's do that. Then it was, well, wear a dress. I'm sorry, I ain't met you yet. And I don't know you from a can of paint, oil, or water. And how can you be dictating what I'm going to be wearing? Second of all, then it was, oh, well, pack an overnight bag. Again, I don't know you from a can of paint. There's going to be no spending of nights. Where do we do that at? And then so then he got mad because I wasn't trying to follow his directive. And I'm like, how can you have all these dictations and you don't know? Okay. For all you know, I could have AIDS. I could have the Rona. You have no idea. You can be anybody you want to be on Facebook. So why are you so anxious and thirsty to get into my lower underwears, and you don't even know what's going on? I finally had to say, you know what? Clearly we're not on the same page, and my interest level was already at a 2, because I ain't got that much hope today. Okay, so then you didn't just drop my interest level below 0. We don't have nothing else to talk about at this point. And I was telling my mom, she was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, because I can't believe you did that. After her, I said, I am tired of grading these men on a sliding scale. I'm done with that one. Either you're going to meet the standard or not.
Think about all of the women that say, okay, I'm packing my overnight bag, I'm going to wear my dress. So that may be something that they are used to, or maybe they're just trying to push your hand to see if you're going to do it. Some men will do that to see if they have a good girl, if they have a girl that's not going to, follow what everybody else is doing. So it's so many women out there that's doing it. So you have to stand your ground and be like, nope. And if he really is interested in you, then he's going to say, okay, don't worry about that. Let's just go anyway.
Absolutely. But that is not what happened. He went clean smooth in on me and almost cursed me out on Facebook. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how you separate the boys from the men. And that is something that I think we as women need to start doing. We need to stop relaxing these standards. And let's get to these standards, because I know that we as women, we set a lot of standards, but we have a hard time standing by those standards. If you say, this is one thing I learned about a man. They set standards, they mean every word. If 9 times out of 10, if a man tells you he don't date a woman that smokes, he don't date a woman that smokes. If he thinks he could think she's the prettiest thing in the world when he see her, let her light a cigarette. He's done. We, oh well, we can work on it. We always trying to find a way to make it all right. What's with all this compromise? What is it?
We're nurturers. We're nurturers by nature. So we feel like we can we can fix the man. We can change him. But a standard is a requirement. It's there for a reason. When you try to get a house, you have to have the right credit score. You have to have the right debt to income ratio. You have to have money in the bank. When you want to get in a good college, you have to have a good SAT score. You have to have good grades. So the standards are there for a reason. And if you don't have those things, what are they going to tell you? No, you have to go back and keep working on it. So women, we have to not have these unrealistic standards, because sometimes we'll be like, oh, I want him to be 6'4", 250 pounds. I want him to have, a six-figure job and this and that, when we don't have that. So I'm not talking about the unrealistic standards, but the standards that are put in place for safety reasons to make you feel secure. Stand by those standards.
Absolutely. Here's the other thing. You said a reason. You made a good point, because standards are set for a reason. You decided that this was a standard because of something you experienced already. So clearly, you already know what you like and don't like. And that's why you set the standard, to make sure you get what you like the next time around. That's the reason we set them. I mean, we ain't just setting them just because. We set them because we're examining ourselves. We're looking at what we like. We're looking at what we don't like. And we're saying, hey, I don't want no more of that. So let me set this standard. See, like for me, I'm like, I don't want nobody else to get the impression that when you come over that you about to get any nookie before I really want to give it to you any other time. So let's not set the standard where you come to my house for a date. What's that? Dates are outside, public places. We're going to public spot hop until I'm ready to go home. That's if we vibe. And if not, then I'm probably going home after the first drink of coffee I have. I'm just telling you. But I mean, I think that we have to start setting the standards that make sense. Don't take nobody else's standards. Don't take your friend's standards, because your friend ain't you and you ain't your friend. Okay. What she deal with and what she like and don't like is really, really different from you. Now, maybe some of y'all have some similarities, but make sure that you are setting your standards based on you. Another thing that my brother said to me, and it was so funny. He said, well, Toria, why you setting standards? You make sure that you are the standard. And I couldn't find a reason to be mad at that. Like, a lot of women will be like, well, I don't have to be so and so and so, and I don't have to be this and this, because I'm expecting that. I mean, hey, every once in a while, y'all get lucky and you get a brother that's way out the league, and you be like, wow, how did I do that? That's not the norm. That's not the normal. That's the outlier. And you need not to be making yourself the outlier. Okay, don't just. This is one thing that me and my girlfriend talk about all the time. Stop making yourself deciding that you are the outlier.
I think for women, like for me, I don't want me and my man to be equal. I want him to be a little above me so that I can look up to him, so that I can, because he's supposed to lead. So I want somebody that's able to lead me. I don't want us to be equal to where, he's telling me something I already know, but I want to be able to learn from him. So if I'm looking for something a little bit more in him, then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be able to bring it to the table. But I really just want him to be a step above me. I don't know if most women may not feel that way. I don't know.
That makes good sense, because that's actually an awesome argument. And I never thought about it. I didn't say it that way, but it's exactly what I mean. A lot of times, we talk to men, and men say things like, well, I don't know how y'all want nobody to be doing all of this, and y'all here, and you'll want somebody at this level. That's the reason I want somebody at this level, because I have somewhere to aspire to. I have someone in my corner that I'm partnering with, that shows me the next level I can be at. So another thing that one woman told me that is married, and she said, I married my husband because I saw in him everything I wanted to be. And so he became kind of a blueprint for her. And that is why we as women say, I want him to be a little ways ahead of me. That is why it's not necessarily about the money, even though that's how we phrase it most of the time. I want him to make more than me. What I really, really mean is because I say I want him to make more than me because I understand that if he does make more than me, then possibly he knows something that I don't know. Okay, but that's just not how we say it. So let me correct it. I don't need, I don't just need him to make more money than me. I need him to be a step above me in intelligence, in entrepreneurship, or in his accomplishments. I need someone to aspire to because he is supposed to be the leader. That is key.
And it could be anything. It could be maybe he traveled more than you, so he can tell you about the different places that he's been. Men like that. Men love to be able to teach you something. You look to them for, they love that. So we shouldn't come into the relationship like we know everything and we can't learn anything from them, but they want to feel needed.
You know what? That brings us to an awesome point because one of the complaints that I get from men is that, the black woman don't need the black man no more. She don't need him. She doing everything herself. She don't need him for nothing. She don't want to listen. You can't tell her nothing. That's the complaint. And I think that here's some of this. Some of this is, yes, sometimes we do talk a little too much. Sometimes we don't want to be told nothing because we think we know everything. And that's because we didn't work. We feel like we didn't work so hard to get to where we are that we really, really don't give. We want so badly to be recognized for that accomplishment because we didn't work real hard and we want somebody to respect that. And you want to recognize it, expect it, don't downplay it. Please don't, because we're going to have a fit. How's an F? So I think we kind of, speak out real loud on that because we don't want you to miss that. But at the same time, I think we miss him appreciating all that we bring to the table because we don't listen when he has something to add to that. Some of that is because all of y'all ain't just necessarily 100% that smart. Okay. And that's not to say that I think men are stupid. Please do not leave this show saying that Toria Renee, aka Coach T, is calling black men stupid. I am not. What I am saying is that there's a remnant out there that thinks that they're smart and they're not, meaning they're good at one thing, but they're not good at some other thing. So I've dated people that are great in their profession, but their common sense is a little bit different and they need some guidance. Like, this is where you need me. Okay. Cause you don't have that. So, I mean, do you experience that?
I experience it because I think men are focused. Women, we multitask, we all over the place, but men are more focused. So yeah, the workplace may be the place where they dominate, and when they come home, they may be more relaxed. So as the woman, you have to know how to keen into that and still make him feel like a king at home. Even though, he may be relaxed and he may be like, go ask your mama, because sometimes men do that. But, a lot of times as women, we lead with our degrees. Men don't like that. Okay, you have a degree. Okay. They don't like that you keep throwing it in their face all the time. So, sometimes we need to, as some men and women would say, lead with our femininity.
That is key. That is key. Lead with our femininity. And I think that we don't always have a good sense of what that is, though. Because and I want to get into this a little bit because I think some of this is how we were raised. It's what we were taught. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't know that I got partnership advice or really, really understood partnership with a man growing up. I mean, the things that I got told was about survival. I feel like they told me how to survive a relationship, but they didn't tell me how to really, really give in one. But I think that's because they got jaded in their time. I mean, you have to think about the difference in times. Then it was back then, women didn't necessarily work. Men were doing all the working. Men had all the interaction and they had all this intellectual stimulation because they were out there in the field. Women were at home taking care of kids, talking baby talk all day. The only stimulation they got was the gossip with the girlfriends and that the men couldn't stand. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sick of you gossiping. Well, you know what? She would have something else to talk about. She had a whole job. She'd have plenty to say if she had a job. But that wasn't the culture. But then these same men were not being stimulated at home by their wives because they're talking baby babble all day. So guess who they going to? The other women who are a little bit more learned, as they would say. The worldly women, the women that had way more pizzazz and flair to them. Those are the women that interested them, and that's why they was out there cheating. Okay, now, so you got the nice, good little woman. She had been at home. She had been cheated on and played. So she's not gonna teach her daughter to do that. She's not gonna teach her daughter to be that chick. Oh no, no, no! You will not be played like your mama, because you're gonna get out here and do something. It's a whole new world now, honey. You gotta get out there and get this education, get out here and get your own, and don't be dependent on them for anything. But somewhere along the way, they missed telling us how to partner with the one that is worth you partnering with. That's not the learning that I got. I got, if you having sex, you shouldn't be broke. I mean, that's all. That's old school. Holla if you hear me, but I'm telling you, that's old school. Yeah, you shouldn't be broke. If you need a bill to be paid and you got a boy, you got a man, I don't know what you asking your grandmama and your mama and your brothers to help you out for. Why ain't you asking him? That's what he was supposed to be doing. But then that's surviving him. Don't never tell him how much money you make. I always tell him you make a little bit less, and then you pocket some of this money and keep it in your little secret stash that you don't tell him you got. I mean, all that's survival. It's not partnership. It's all survival. So you want me to survive in these relationships? That's the best I can hope for? Then where's love? Where's trust? Where's partnership? Where is teamwork? Where's any of that? I mean, did you get that, or did you get something else?
I grew up in a house. It was I don't want to say a Christian home, where my mom stayed at home, my dad worked, and when we came home, the food was ready. When we went to school, it was ready. My mom was there when we got home. She never worked. My dad always brought the money home. I watched my mom serve my dad. Like, she served him whenever he came home. She made sure the food was ready. She made sure his clothes was washed. Like, she really served him. I think she missed out on her life because she was taking care of the kids and she was serving him. Her life was wrapped up into church. So that's where she got her outlet, is whenever she went to church. But as they got older, I saw the roles switch. Like, instead of my father doing all the taking care of my mom, it kind of like, it switched. So I think you look at the household as that's their relationship. So your relationship doesn't necessarily have to be like theirs. Like, my mom and my dad didn't push go to college, or anything like that. It was like, get through high school, get a job. My dad was on his job for a long time. He retired from his job. So you take what you can from the household and you eliminate the stuff that doesn't necessarily apply to you, because I wouldn't want to be a person that stayed at home and take care of my husband. I wouldn't want to serve him unless he was just filthy rich and I didn't really have to work, but I wouldn't want to stay home. I'm the type of person, I have to be doing something, and maybe that's our problem, is that we have to always seem busy. I couldn't be the wife that she was and stay home and serve my man like she did.
Me either. I don't know that would be that wouldn't be fulfilling to me. I think that because I have a mind for business, I have a mind for creativity, I have a mind for, public speaking and helping people and coaching. I don't know that I could just sit home and do nothing. Like, I never wanted to be the woman. Like, my grandmother was a kept woman. They kept, air quotes, y'all, kept. But kept woman to me, in watching her, a kept woman was a woman that, didn't have to work, spent all of her husband's money, but really, really didn't have a life of her own, had a life of her own, but not to the point where she was in full control of it. Meaning everything she did was based upon what he allowed her to do with the finances. Okay. So I got full control over these finances as long as he tell me I do. But the moment he want me to cut back, now I'm on a budget. Wait a minute, we got problems. Because I don't think I want nobody else setting my budget for me. Okay. So I've always wanted to be a woman that was in control of some of the things that had to do with my well-being and the things that I have interest in. I don't know that I want anybody dictating to me what I can be interested in and what I can put my money to. I mean, my grandmother was a woman that was really, really into church and really believed in tithes and offering. She couldn't fully tithe on their earnings. She could only tithe on what he gave her. But, in her head, that was like, okay, this is the best I can do. However, I can't really bring the full blessing to my household because don't have access to everything. I can't tithe on the fullness of what we have to bring in the fullness of the blessing. But that's a restriction. If you believe, for a believer, that's a restriction. And I just was like, I don't want to live a life where I feel restricted because he makes all of the money. I want to be able to I want to have some say so. I don't want to be a puppet. I don't want to be him to be directing me all the time. I mean, does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think as women, if you believe that the man's supposed to be the head, then you're going to allow him to do that. And you're going to find a way to input what you want to happen in the household and for him to be receptive. Our generation is different. So I'm not going to accept what my mom did. Like, I feel like right now, as it relates to relationships, like my dad was an awesome provider. We never wanted for anything. But as far as time, spending like quality time with the family, like I didn't get that. I don't remember getting that at all. So that's one of my negatives in relationships is quality time is something I have to have. And if you're not giving me that, I'm out of there.
Absolutely. And we were talking about the 5 love languages, and we were going through them. It was so funny because over the years, I've kind of changed. I remember in my 20s, I was all about acts of service. Acts of service was everything to no, not just gifts, because gifts is different. I mean, random acts of service. If you could just randomly come to my house and see that I need some milk, you can change them. You bring milk the next. You don't change my life. That's like awesome. Oh, you see that the table is a little bit wobbly, and you be like, you know what? Let me bring my tools in, get that together. You gonna make me real happy. Okay, that still does make me happy. But today, I am way more into words of affirmation, and not in the sense that I need you to always be telling me I'm beautiful and I'm the bomb. That's not what I mean. Because I already know who I am and I don't need all of that. I tell people all the time, I am Sister Gorgeous One. I am Halle Berry all day. You can't tell me nothing different. Okay. I was just arguing with my brother. I told him, he said he's the finest one out of the 3 of us. I said, boy, please. I got you faded. Do you hear me? You can't tell me nothing. But that's just how I am. But what I am looking for is for him to express. He needs to tell me how he feels, what he thinks, what he wants, and how that pertains to me and us. What the future looks like for us. That's what I need him to be expressive about. This whole thing where I got to pull teeth to get you to tell me that you like me or that you love. Anybody got time for that? This is 2021 going on 2022. We about to get into a whole nother decade or something. I mean, why we still got to be playing these games? We too old for you not to be able to. Well, men don't express themselves. Well, you better go read a book. You need to Hallmark will tell you how to do it. BT, watch a couple of movies. They'll tell you how to do it. Read a couple of books. Wikipedia, Google something, YouTube. Somebody out here telling you how to get this done. So you don't have no excuse to be telling me you can't tap in. I mean, I get that you're not going to be expressive as me because I'm a woman and you a man. I get that. But basics you can handle. And I'm going to need you to bring that forward.
I think we have to learn how our man communicates. And then you have to tap into that. And that's the way you communicate with him. So if he's coming home from work and he always just wants to relax when he gets in for the first 30 minutes, but when he comes in, you just at him. The kids are at him, and he's like, wow, okay, he's not going to come home probably the next couple of days. He's going to come home late, maybe when y'all sleep or whatever, and the house is quiet. So you have to learn how to communicate with him. If it's after sex and pillow talk and you can get stuff in, some people may say that's manipulative, but if that's the time for you to talk to him and for y'all to connect, then do that.
Absolutely. I think that is so true. I mean, we act like, here's the whole purpose. We act like sex is this weapon that women use. And it can be. Let's be clear. We can use it as a weapon, but sometimes it is the thing that renders him open enough for him to actually hear you when you speak. Because some men are just so in their head all day focusing on whatever it is they doing that they ain't really hearing you. They would, and it's not that they don't want to, but their head is filled with 20 million other things going on that they just don't have time to hear you right now. But that's the moment. You done got them real softened up. he real ready for all this one, but that's not the time for you to ask him to do things that you know for a fact that he would be 100% against. Like,
Yes, it
let's
is. Yes, it is. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, let's not be vindictive and mean. Like, she know good well I would have never agreed to no mess like that if it wasn't. That's being manipulative. However, if these are the times that you can get him to really, really listen to what you say and take in take in the meaning and not just hear you with his ears, but hear you with his mind and his heart, then that's when you need to be talking about those things. I also think that we need to learn, and I do agree, we need to learn what his language is. This is one of the things my mother said to my grandmother used to say to me. She said, well, Toria, that you can't just have 30 minutes to yourself when you get home. He might have something important to tell you. I said, he can wait 30 minutes to tell me because I need to get my mind together, just like he want me to wait for him. You know what I mean? So we need to understand each other. I'm all for 30 minutes of silence when you first walk in because I don't want to talk about nothing. But that's because I done been to work too, though. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm sitting at home all day with begging and waiting for a grown person to walk into the house so I can have somebody to talk to. And I feel like that is the bad part, the negative piece of being a stay-at-home wife and mother that doesn't really have your own set of things to do because you are waiting for some adult stimulation to happen.
Well, it depends. I would say, as it relates to the 30 minutes before you get home, have that 30 minutes in your car. So when you walk through the door, you're ready. You're ready for him. Don't, okay, babe, I need this 30 minutes and your hand is up to him and you're off somewhere for 30 minutes. No, take that 30 minutes in your car before you hit that door so that you have that time of peace to yourself. A lot of times, because they're going to go somewhere else and have that conversation with somewhere else. So that's your man. Women, we sacrifice a lot. We do.
But he can take okay.
He could.
He can take his 30 minutes in the car too, right?
Let's not do tick for tack.
I'm just asking.
He could, but if he doesn't want to, then as a woman, because really we run that household. When you think about it, women run the household.
So we always making all the adjustments.
We always, yes.
And this is what I'm talking about. We are making this brings me to the other point. We're always making so many adjustments. When is it too much? When have we gone too far? When is the adjustment like, okay, look, I'm tapped and you're going to have to give something here because it's enough. It's enough. When is the adjustment way too much where we lose ourselves? How do we stop that moment from happening?
When is that detrimental to your health? When you're losing yourself, that's the time to sit down and have a conversation with your partner and say, hey, I'm feeling some sort of way. That may be the time for you to go and get help as well. You have to have a partner that's in tune with who you are and your needs. Sometimes our partner don't know our needs because we don't really express them. We express it to our friends. We express it to our mother. We express it to everybody around us, but he has no idea how we're feeling.
This is so true because we are so busy telling everybody else what's going on, except the person that really, really could help us fix this issue. And this is the man that you are involved with. But I feel like we are so afraid to go to him with that because we don't know what the response is going to be like. We are terrified that the response is going to be like, well, hey, we could break up.
Men are fixers. Men are fixers. So if you tell them that something is wrong, they're going to look for ways to fix it. And if they can find a way to fix it, okay, babe, this is what we're going to do now. When you come home for 30 minutes, I'll get the kids and I'll let you sit in there for 30 minutes. I'll help them with their homework. When you're done and they're fixers. So if it's a way that they can fix it, believe me, they're going to fix it. But
they only fix it for the women that they love and care about. And sometimes we are terrified because we know this. We know that they only fixing it for people that they actually care about. We are terrified to find out if they actually care about us for real. Because those be the tests, honey. Okay, that's the moment rubber meet the road when you bring a problem. If he ain't trying to fix it, ladies, he don't give 2 cents. I'm just trying to tell you.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would say give him a chance. Maybe he's thinking of some things that what he can do. Men are logic. Like women, when we tell a man a problem, we telling him every little detail about the problem. He just want to know what the problem is so he can fix it. Just get straight to the point. What is the problem so that he can? We talk too much. We add in all these details. He don't want to know all that. babe, I broke my arm. Okay, babe, I broke my arm and it's bleeding, the bone is sticking out, and then the skin is back. He don't want to hear all that. He just want to know that you broke your arm so he could take you to the hospital and get it fixed. That's all he want to
Let
know.
the doctor figure. Let the doctor. Tell the
Right.
doctor that is bleeding and is broke. I
Like,
don't need to see all that.
sometimes it's not the time to do details. We have to figure out what those times are.
That's true. I want to get into this really, really quickly. So let's talk about this disrespect, because this disrespect is a thing. This disrespect is real. It is a real, real thing. Okay. Um, excuse me. So when we talk about, why and how this happens, I mean, I know we feel like this is more prevalent in the Black community. I just think that's because we're Black and that's what we know. But I don't want to put the stigma just on Black relationships, but we are just talking about Black relationships, and this is what we see a lot of. There's a lot of, the lying, the cheating, the deceit. Who, child? Do you feel like women can sometimes do or say things that kind of don't help it? I'm not saying that we cause it. I'm saying we don't help it with some of the way. Do you think that that's a thing or no?
I think it is a thing. I think with women, we have this. We sometimes we lead with the trauma from the other relationships that we've had. So I think sometimes we just need to take a step back and know that if I'm with you, then we're partners, we're teammates, we're not enemies. We have to learn how to not to be nasty to each other, but learn how to love each other and communicate with each other. A lot of times the Black women and the Black man, we feel like love has to be a struggle. If I'm not struggling, if we're not fighting, if it's not toxic, then it's not a relationship.
It ain't real,
right?
Because passion is argument. We wouldn't argue like this. We didn't love each other. I would just be like, really, y'all got to do all that because you love some? Stop it. I want to also talk about dating with purpose, because when we start dating with purpose, the game changes. Okay, especially for women. I'm still trying to figure this. I'm gonna ask these men this too. But I feel like as long as I was out here playing and just having fun, and I didn't really want anything serious, I had men at the door. They was everywhere. I couldn't get rid of them. The moment I decided that I want to have some goals, the moment that I decided that I'm like, you know what, I want something substantial. It's time to settle down. It's time, let's go ahead and get this wrapped up, tied up in a bow. It dried up. Because now the dating, the pool is much, much smaller for that. Did you notice that? Or is it just me?
No, that's true, because everybody's purpose is not the same as yours. So and so you have all of these people coming at you, but as soon as you start saying, oh, I'm not sleeping with anybody before marriage. Oh, you can't come to my house. Oh, I'm not introducing my kids to you. When you start putting these things in place, then people start to fall off. And that's good, because you want them to fall off, because you don't want to waste your time with people who are not in it for the long run. But sometimes just get to know the person first, because sometimes we meet a person, we already got on our wedding dress. Ooh. And they done already, said I do. Like every time we meet,
we had 25 dreams already. We didn't have a vision. He is it.
Yeah. Every time we meet somebody, we're picturing our to them instead of just enjoying dating. Like every date is not going to lead to a marriage, or it's not even going to lead to a relationship.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it may lead to a friendship. Just enjoy the time going out.
Do you think we chase the man? Do you think we as women, we chase that married title real hard?
We do, because for some reason that was taught to us as little. The girls should be married. That should be our dream. You should grow up, get married, have a husband. And it's like, we have other dreams too. We want to own businesses, it's a lot of things that we want to do. But it seems like if we don't have that marriage, if we don't have that title, then we feel like we're less than.
I think that society at large has painted this picture that marriage is some type of, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired of everybody acting like, marriage is this institution that's like this secret society that we single people need to be trying to get into, and it's a privilege to get into it. And oh my God, entry is like, woo, you didn't. Okay, look, marriage is awesome and wonderful. I'm told, I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm told it's awesome, but I'm also told it's overrated. Okay. Overrated in the sense that there's nothing about it that should make you feel less than because you're not. Okay. And I think that we have really, really embodied that we just taken this thing to heart. But it's because we as women are judged by it as well, though. It's like, I can't tell you how many times, I show up at the family gatherings and At one point, I was like, I'm so tired of showing up at these get family gatherings without a man because I'm so sick of y'all talking to me about one. It's just ridiculous. When you gonna get married? When you gonna have some kids? Like, Tori can't never get a man. Tori can't keep a man. Hold up. Let's dispel all these myths about how Tori can't keep a man. Tori can't keep a man because Tori don't take no smack. That's why Tori can't keep one. Tori ain't trying to keep one that don't want to be kept. That's why she can't keep one. Let's be clear about it all. But I think that we feel like this pressure. It's like, I don't want to show up to another family get together without, I don't want to show up to another party and everybody bring their man and I ain't got one. What? I'm getting to the point now where I don't care. I'm standing alone. What?
Enjoy the season that you're in. Enjoy the single season that you're in. You get to do a lot of things that you can't do when you're married. Especially, you should be operating in your purpose while you're single. Concentrate on that. A lot of people, is marriage overrated? I would say no, because I was married and I'm divorced. And I enjoyed my marriage while I was in it until it wasn't enjoyable anymore. And I did everything that I could. And when I decided that I had nothing else to give, I filed for divorce, because most of the time women are the ones that file for divorce. But enjoy that season. So if you're married, enjoy that you're married. Don't make somebody else feel less than because they're not there. A lot of people that are married, let me just tell you that they may not even be sleeping in the same bed when they get home.
Absolutely.
So don't allow them to fool you. These phony IG marriages. No,
They got 25 pictures up. We so
Don't-
happy, and then at home they like
Trust
ready
me.
to kill each other. Okay.
don't let them fool you.
Yes. One of the other things I want to talk about really is the mistakes. Some of the we as women can make a lot of mistakes in these relationships. I know from one mistake for sure is inserting myself into their lives way without invitation. Like, you just start taking over. I mean, what is that?
Because we want to be in a relationship so bad, instead of just allow him to be the one to say we, allow him to be the one to say, let's take a trip, let's do this, instead of, because a lot of times we run the man off. He like, I wasn't ready for that. We have control over when we have sex. They have control over, are we in a relationship? So we're waiting for them to say, hey, you want to be my woman, and they're waiting for us to say, yeah, I'm ready. So, we have to just make sure we're on the same page when it comes to the relationship. And you have to know that person enough to say, I'm going to input me in this person's life. And a lot of times we don't do that because we don't communicate.
The other piece of it, I think, is that we do a lot of work trying to prove to him that I'm the one. And I keep trying to say, you can't manufacture that though, because I'm the one. I'm the one when he decides you're the one. That's him deciding that you're the one. And it's him deciding that you're the one based on what he wants, what he needs, and what he has formed together in his mind or conceptualized in his head of who his wife is. Okay. And you don't get to decide what that is. So you can kill yourself and run yourself ragged trying to do all the things you think a good woman is supposed to do. And that might not be his definition of what a good woman is. And you can't just make yourself be that person, because there's nothing worse than pretending to be something that you are not. Because let's be clear, you cannot keep that up. You can't.
Men are really, really strange creatures. I look at the situation with Derek Jackson and his wife, and a lot of people was downing his wife about the way that she looks, and they're like, how can he like her? She looks the way that she was dressed. And it's like, you don't know what that man saw in that woman at the time he asked that woman to marry him. A lot of times women, we think that men do like the outside. But if you have an outside person, a person who's beautiful on the outside, but in the inside, she's a horrible person, that man is not going to want to be with you. So, make the outside match the inside when you want to, if you want to present yourself to a man and allow him to choose you.
Yes, allow him to choose you. That is so key, Lady Reshell, because I'll be saying this all the time. I'm like, you can't just decide that this man, like, oh, because you think you're great. And just let's be clear, if he does not choose you, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that you're not right for him. You are all right for somebody else. But let's be clear, for him, you might not be enough. For somebody, you are everything and then some. You just got to meet him. Okay. And the sooner you realize that he is not it, the sooner you can be free yourself so you can be ready for the one that is. Let's be clear. So we're about to come to the close of this show. Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Man, I don't want it to be over just yet. I wasn't even finished. I have so much more I could be saying. But thank you so much for really, really joining me on the show today. I have a gift. I have a gift for you. This is yours. And so this is Patch Party Club, a young lady I had on the show a couple of months last year, I believe. And she has a patch party. It's a Patch Party Club. And those are all these, they're stickers that you can put on your t-shirts in the box. And so it's all these different ones. And they have a lot to do about, Black love, the Black girl. It's all Black girl power in there. And then, of course, I put my card on there for you. But I mean, that's just a gift for thanking you for coming out to be on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, for everybody, really quickly, aside from love, tell your king number one thing you need from him and the number one thing you're willing to give him.
I need him to give me integrity. And the one thing that I'm willing to give him is loyalty.
Yes. Okay, so now, what would you tell your younger self to better prepare her for her future king?
Self-love is important.
Woo! All right, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to all of my Intellectual Radio listeners and those who are on my Facebook Live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Join us next Sunday, same place, same time, right here on IntellectualRadio.com. Second installment of part 1. And we're going to be coming from the married woman's perspective with Wanda V, another fellow Intellectual Radio host of He Said, She Said. Remember to follow and like you as you connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at I Am the Coach T. Where can the people talk to find you?
They can follow me on all forms of social media by typing in at Warriors Talk with the number 1.
Yes. All right. This has been Empowering Moments with Coach T on IntellectualRadio.com. I am the Coach T, and just be you.
You'll be empowered, engaged intellectually. Just be inspired. Embrace some positivity. Chilling for you. Approaching it deductively. Money and power.